This filing makes the Hedera ETF look all but certain. We are going to dive into that. Plus, which one is it now? There's like 6 of them out there. We'll dive into that. Plus, this Hedera DApp drop partners with this point-of-sale company. Is something strange going on with the stablecoins on Hedera? We'll dive into that. Why should you care about the DREC Alliance? I'll tell you why you should care about the DREC Alliance in that segment. And the biggest news today is we're going to dive into this ETF news. By the way, Sorcerer Swap is about to go mobile. Did I mention that? No? If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. Let's start with a win you can feel in your pocket. Literally. Sorcerer Swap, Hedera's largest DeFi platform, is going mobile. The iOS beta rolls out via test flight on October 13, and if you've ever tried to navigate Apple's crypto policies, you know this alone is a green flag for future growth. Why it matters? When your top DEX moves from open a laptop to tap your phone, daily active users spike, liquidity deepens, and the average person finally tries DeFi without needing a YouTube tutorial and 3 cups of coffee. Jump into Sorcerer Swap's Discord, grab the mobile beta tester role, and get your link. Early testers become power users who shape features, find bugs, and drive product market fit. Now the second blast of momentum. Payments. Hedera Natane Drop just partnered with Pinnacle Corporation, a serious cloud POS provider for US fuel and convenience retailers, translation, pay by bank, and pay by stablecoin at gas pumps and corner stores. Instant settlement, lower fees, built-in rewards. If you've ever watched interchange fees chew through the profit on a $3 coffee, you get why merchants are sprinting toward alternatives. A drop is built on US bank rails plus Hedera's public ledger, with USDC support. The result? Up to 2/3 lower fees, real-time cash flow, no waiting days to settle, and programmable offers that don't depend on legacy card networks smiling upon you. Will people use it? Here's the bet. The places Americans visit constantly, gas stations and C-stores, are exactly where simple, fast, repeatable payment behavior snowballs. If Drop's Nest Show demo in Chicago, October 15 to 17, lands with retailers, you'll see a wave of pilots roll out. And remember, consumer experience plus merchant economics is how payments rails flip. If settling is cheaper and faster, CFOs don't need a vibe check, they need a pilot. Alright, what's the price angle? 2 compounding curves. Curve 1, mobile DeFi drives on-chain activity, more swaps, fees, LP depth, and token utility. Curve 2, POS payments drive pure transactional throughput, more accounts, integrations, and institutional conversations. When you combine utility people touch, DeFi, with utility people don't see, payments, you get what analysts call compounding utility, the precursor to re-evaluations by funds that care about usage, not memes. Keep one more domino in view. Ledger support for Hedera tokens, HBAR and top HTS assets recently went live in Ledger Live. That's hardware-level custody for the ecosystem, and it quietly solves a huge trust and store blocker for newcomers. Add mobile trading, real-world payments, and secure custody, and you've got an onboarding funnel that finally feels like 2025 instead of 2019. It's just heating up. Next, we'll hit the "What's up with stablecoins on Hedera" conversation. Yes, the chart looks weird at first glance. No, it's not the disaster headline some people want it to be. Then I'll connect stablecoin flows to liquidity, liquidity to ETF filings, and ETF filings to what matters for your portfolio right now. Stay with me. This roller coaster only climbs from here. Let's tackle the chart everyone's DMing. Hedera's stablecoin supply. If you've seen the DeFi llama lines, it looks like a heartbeat monitor. Spikes up, drops down, repeat. In some months the moves are dramatic, with swings between $50, 0 cents M, and north of $200, 0 cents M. Scary? Only if you ignore how stablecoin plumbing works. 3 reasons this happens. 1. Institutional liquidity parcels. Large market makers and OTC desks don't trickle in. They deploy lumps of USDC, or redeem in lumps, to optimize costs, funding rates, and basis trades across venues. That looks like sharp steps up and down, especially on chains where a handful of venues dominate the on-chain liquidity footprint. 2. Bridging and accounting. Moving stable value between chains via custodial bridges, native mints, and treasury rebalancing frequently shows up as supply spikes on one network and drawdowns on another. It's less capital leaving and more liquidity routing. 3. Real product pilots. When a network is pushing live merchant rails like Drop plus Pinnacle POS or institutional tokenization tests, temporary float appears, gets used, and is reduced. That's how early-stage payment stacks behave: test, settle, sweep. The more important signal isn't the jagged peaks, it's the rising floor over time. If the baseline creeps up quarter over quarter, you're seeing net growth in on-chain stable value, even if whales are surfing in and out. Watch the floor, not the fireworks. Now, why do I care about this if I'm not a stablecoin maxi? Because stablecoin supply is oxygen for DeFi and a lubricant for ETF arbitrage once those products go live. Which brings us to the ETF drumbeat. Hedera has now been named in 6 US ETF filings, a mix of single asset and crypto basket products. The headliners: Grayscale Hedera Trust. Canary HBAR Spot ETF S1AY Eminent just dropped, fee 95 bips, ticker HB. Rex/Osprey HBAR ETF. Canary American-made crypto ETF basket. CraneShares Coinbase 50 Index ETF basket. CraneShares CF Large Cap Crypto Index ETF basket. Bloomberg's Eric Balchunas noted that publishing fees/tickers in an S1 is typically the final step before launch. Government shutdown drama can stretch timelines, but documents that look final usually are. Will I buy an ETF? Personally, I like holding native HBAR and staking/liquidity strategies, but ETFs unlock an entire class of traditional investors who want exposure without custody. That equals new flows, and new flows reprice assets. Before the ETF fireworks, one more quiet giant: the DREC Alliance, Decentralized Recovery. Hedera co-founder Limon Baird put it plain: crypto needs easy, decentralized key recovery that protects secrets without handing over your keys. DREC is about chain-agnostic recovery standards with members across ecosystems: Hedera, Algorand, Cardano, XRP, and more. Why it matters? Mass adoption dies if people fear losing keys. Make recovery safe, non-custodial, and standardized, and you remove the single biggest UX barrier in Web3. Put those 3 together: stablecoin capacity, ETF access, recovery UX, and you get a network preparing for the mainstream. Next, we connect the dots with the Canary HBAR ETF filings, how fees and index inclusion influence demand, and why slow, steady cycles might be the best thing to happen to patient holders this year. Time for the main course. Canary's S1 AE amendment for the HBAR Spot ETF and Litecoin is in, with 0.95% annual fees and the tickers set LTCC for LTC, HBR for HBAR. As Balchunas said, ticking fees/tickers is usually the last mile before go time. Yes, a federal shutdown can pause the stopwatch, but this is what imminent looks like on paper. Let's decode what that means for you. 1. Access equals flows. Separate from crypto to navigate demand, ETFs create advisory channel distribution, RIAs, family offices, and 401 adjacent allocators often can't hold native tokens but can add ETFs in minutes. Even modest allocations move needles in mid-cap crypto. You're not betting on apes. You're onboarding retirement money, slow, sticky, rebalancing money. 2. Fees aren't fatal. Is 95 bips higher than BTC spot ETF fees? Sure. Is it normal for new to ETF land categories? Also yes. If the product gathers assets, competition tends to arrive with cheaper clones. In the meantime, the marginal buyer wants exposure more than they want to shave 35 bips. Early products often win by simply existing first. 3. Index inclusion compounds. Hedera's appearance in CraneShares baskets, Coinbase 50, large cap crypto index, means forced buying when AUM grows and periodic rebalancing bids. You want to be in the assets that benefit from passive flows, because passive money doesn't argue with narratives. It follows rules. Now layer in the rest of today's catalysts: SaucerSwap Mobile, Drop plus Pinnacle POS, Ledger Live token support, and the DREC usability push. You've got custody solved, on-chain activities simplified, merchant rails piloted, and institutional wrappers queued. That's an adoption pipeline, not a headline. About the market cycle, no, this doesn't feel like prior blow-offs where prices ran every morning like a caffeine chart. This one is grinding, stair-stepping, and selective, which is exactly how institutional cycles look. If you're waiting for the every altcoin doubles daily phase first, you might miss the positioning window where the fundamentals are already set, and the wrappers, ETFs, baskets, custody are just catching up. A quick word on the but circulating supply crowd. Supply matters, but demand sets price. And demand is driven by utility, access, and trust. Hedera is stacking all three. That's why you see it named in filings, integrated in POS pilots, used by enterprises, and supported by hardware wallets. The market isn't confused. It's repricing utility on a lag. Actionably, if you're crypto-agnostic, keep core HBAR as your base and use mobile SaucerSwap to farm, LP, and rotate with discipline. If you're trade-fire-oriented, the HBAR ETF may be the cleanest route, especially inside tax-advantaged accounts. Either way, don't ignore stablecoin baselines, health of the rails, and watch index flows passive bid. Most important, stay patient, stay sized. The headlines say imminent. The plumbing says ready. And if past cycles taught us anything, it's this. Quiet integrations become loud price candles after the fact.